In December 2008, Manong Ernie Ramos received this letter. Inside the letter was a personal photo of a newly elected President of the United States, bearing his autograph and a message of sincere thanks. It said, "Dear Mr. Ramos, thank you for your support and friendship. I hope I can continue to count on you as we work toward achieving the change the nation needs." Signed, Barack Obama. Manong Ernie also received a letter from Tim Kaine, chairman of the Democratic National Committee. He wrote, "Dear Mr. Ramos, you played a pivotal role in President Barack Obama's election victory in November. Here, reiterated again, President Obama's victory in last year's election depended upon your support." Before Hillary accepted Barack Obama's offer to be America's next Secretary of State, she wrote Manong Ernie a very personal letter. She wrote, "Dear Ernesto, this is not a goodbye, because we're embarking on a new American journey. We spent 17 months in a hard-fought campaign. We keep working and fighting, putting your hearts into making a history again by helping to put Barack Obama and Joe Biden at the White House. I'm so proud of all we accomplished, but most of all, I'm proud to call you my friend. And as I take the first step to the next path of our journey, I know you'll be right there with me, as always, in my heart and by my side. Sincerely, Hillary." By then, Manong Ernie Ramos has become the most influential Filipino in American politics. When President Barack Obama asked him what favor he could return to him for all the support he has given, Manong Ernie asked for only one thing: sign the World War II Filipino Veterans Act into law. President Barack Obama kept his promise. In February 19, 2009, barely 100 days in office, President Obama signed into law the World War II Filipino Veterans Act. The 60-year struggle of Filipino veterans was finally over. The favor he asked for from President Obama summarizes the life of Manong Ernie Ramos. He was a man for others, not asking anything for himself. He is a leader without worldly ambitions, a man who loved his country more than himself. Manong Ernie was born in Binalonan, Pangasinan, to parents Teofilo S. Ramos and Gaudentia G. Ramos, both public school teachers. He took his secondary education at the Mary Help of Christians Minor Seminary in Binmali, Pangasinan. A scholar at the UST Central Seminary, he graduated with honors on 4 degrees. He was ordained into priesthood in 1964. He went to the US in 1968 on a scholarship grant and pursued his graduate studies at Loyola University in Chicago. He was assigned at the Archdiocese of Chicago under the late John Cardinal Cody. He officiated masses in English, Spanish, Latin, and Tagalog. Manong Ernie painfully left the priesthood when Cardinal Cody forbade him to celebrate the Mass in Tagalog. But the church loss was the Philippines' gain. Manong Ernie is now free to pursue and protect Filipino interests in America. He became the legislative director and speechwriter of U.S. Congresswoman Carrie Mick for some 25 years in the U.S. Congress and the Florida State Legislature. With the state of Florida as his base, he helped establish One Nation Project. From 1994 through 2008, One Nation helped more than 150,000 Florida immigrants become U.S. citizens, among whom are 42,000 plus Filipinos and other Asians. Until 2010, he chaired the National Filipino American Public Affairs Coalition, FAPAC, the first Phil-Am Political Action Committee that can actively lobby in the U.S. Congress and the White House for Filipino interests. But the lasting legacy of Manong Ernie was the party he had formed, the Democratic Party of the Philippines, also known as the Democratic Party of the Poor. This is his lifelong work, a lasting legacy he wanted to bestow to his country. DPP contained the blueprint of how a leader should lead this nation, a roadmap that will lead the country out of poverty towards prosperity and peace. He left to the DPP a masterpiece in socio-economic planning, a Marshall Plan to pay for our country's usurious debt. But Manong Ernie would not live to see his dreams fulfilled. He died of lung cancer in October 15, 2010. He passed on his leadership to his younger brother Louis, who saw to it the legacy of Manong Ernie be lived and remembered. The tale of two mountains is a solid proof that the spirit of Manong Ernie lives on. He lives in our hearts and stands by our side.